Yo, what is going on, guys? We are back with another Berserk 2017 episode. Berserk Season 2, or Berserk 2017 Episode 2, if you want to call it that. So, in this episode, I really did not like how Casca looked in this episode. I mean, I didn't really talk about her too much in my Episode 1 review of Berserk 2017, but in this episode, ooh, you can definitely tell how the characters looked so robotic, even when it came to Casca. Like, you just see her going like almost like a robot. I mean, shit. I mean, I know the girl's brain dead, but holy fucking shit. Like, she looks like, no joke. Actually, all of the characters in Berserk are probably, you know, as bad as Mass Effect Andromeda's Addison. I mean, of course, the patch came out, which made her look a lot better, but I mean, you know, hopefully we get a patch on Berserk 2017. So pretty much in this whole entire episode, there is really only two things that really need to be said that are main focal points of what we saw in this episode, at least, and that is one, Serpico and Farnese's past. So in this past, we actually see how Farnese ends up finding Serpico, and also how Serpico, you know, started to work for Farnese ever since, you know, he was a little kid. And also how Farnese has been so odd throughout the series. In Berserk 2016, you know, back last year when we first saw it, Farnese did always act a little strangely and a little bit odd and very sadistic in a way, actually. And this is actually where we see how everything started. It started ever since she was a little child. And not that she was, like, born of this nature. It was just due to the simple fact that she did not have a mother or a father that would, you know, take care of her. Her father was always, you know, busy doing his own work, and the mother, I believe they said that she left or something like that. I can't really remember from the manga, but I think, you know, basically she was not there, you know, pretty much at all. Her father made a return to, you know, his house and whatnot, their mansion, but, you know, would pretty much ignore Farnese. Like, there was actually that one scene where we see her, you know, very happy to see her dad again, and she wants to tell her dad about, you know, very important things that are, that she would like to talk about to her father, especially when it comes to, you know, how long she has missed him and everything. She wants to catch up and all of that. She just wants her father to acknowledge her, and pretty much the guy's just, you know, like, step aside, I'll give you, you know, more toys later, I gotta handle my business here, blah, 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 that sort of thing. So yeah, really, Farnese has kind of had a rough childhood, not getting any attention from her parents at all. Her parents barely show up, and this is basically why we see her act the way she does. If she can't get the attention from her mother or her father, she needs to try to get attention from everyone else around her who is working under the family name under her. And she even goes as far as making Serpico her servant, her bodyguard, and to basically watch over her and to do things with her as well. And, like, we see that one scene where she's in the storm. Like, damn. She's like saying to Serpico, "Yay, I'm really scared of the storm, you know, do something about this." Serpico's just like, "I can't do anything about this. This is just Mother Nature." And then she just goes outside and is like, "I must become a storm myself." Like, I remember seeing that in the manga. Like, you tell how fucked up she is in the head, and ever since then, she has been acting this way. Just trying to be given pleasure and also attention from people around her. So, yeah, Farnese, yeah, she's one of the odd ones within the series. But how the past was handled, from what I saw, went by incredibly fast. The pacing to the past, you can definitely tell that certain scenes were skipped over a little bit. At least that's how I saw it. I mean, I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, but I mean, when I saw that past of Serpico and Farnese, I personally felt like I was watching a puppet slideshow. I mean, I'm serious. I'm serious. A puppet slideshow. It was kind of like, alright, if anybody has seen, I think it's called Yami Shibai, it's kind of like a horror sort of slideshow series with puppets, not necessarily puppets, but it kind of drawn in that fashion, so to speak, and that's what the past where Serpico and also Farnese reminded me of. Just some puppet slideshow that goes through certain scenes relatively quickly, transitioning over to the next scene, and transitioning over to the next scene to fully explain, you know, a certain event. You know, it just seemed to go by really quick. Really quick. Now, with that said, now we can move on to the other main focal point that we saw in this episode. So Guts' inner demons are actually starting to rise. Now, we should have seen this in the Lost Children arc, but of course we skipped over it because I don't know why they skipped over it. I guess they want us to just get straight to the conviction arc, so that way they can just get, you know, to the good stuff, so to speak. I mean, I don't know. The Lost Children arc was actually very, very good and was actually very bloody. I mean, I guess I can see why they skipped over it due to, you know, children dying and all that, but I mean, anyway, that's where we saw Guts' inner demons start to rise, and that's very important for Guts' character, and we finally get to see that a little bit in this episode as well. I just would have rather seen it in the beginning of the Lost Children arc, but anyway, we skipped over that. But we saw the dog-like creature appear, which looked really bad, looked really out of place when it first saw Guts. But basically what this thing is doing, the demons are getting to Guts, and really Guts cannot handle this because he is so much under pressure from these demons that they are putting the pressure on him to, you know, actually rape Casca or even kill her. So it's actually very interesting to see that fashion, and we also saw that Casca actually killed several people from, you know, also experiencing something like how she faced in the eclipse. So while Casca has gone completely brain dead, she does remember certain aspects, or at least her brain triggers certain aspects that happened to her in the past. So she only recalls certain things, but only if it's very traumatic. Like how in episode 1 of Berserk 2017, which I just reviewed, she sees Griffith. She sees Griffith and starts crying over him and, you know, is kind of scared of him as well. But at the same time, how Casca used to be, she really respected Griffith. And in a way, you can tell that Casca kind of remembers that factor. And then in this episode, we see that, you know, she was about to be raped, and she starts triggering memories of what happened during the eclipse to her. And that is when she ended up killing the two guys who were trying to rape her. So, seeing those traumatic experiences that Casca faced, it started to trigger something in her mind that made her, you know, remember and go completely ape shit. So, at least that's what it comes to my personal opinion. Whenever Casca, you know, is, what am I trying to say? Whenever Casca is exposed to something that's happened relatively similar to what happened to her in the eclipse, then she starts to remember that. However, you know, she does not remember who Guts is still, though. Especially Guts trying to rape her, because his inner demons were starting to take control over him. He was hearing whispers in the back of his head from the demons who were trying to pressure him into, you know, actually killing off Casca, and he starts to begin raping her, even hurting her, freaking putting bite marks on her tits. You know, he's actually, you know, starting to lose control of his sanity, and this is where, you know, later on in the series we'll see, you know, Guts actually become more demon-like rather than human, if he, you know, is considered human at this point, because Guts is a fucking monster to begin with. He was a monster of a human, now he's even more of a monster now, you know. And also while seeing this, the rest of the gang that we saw in Berserk 2016, Isidro, Farnese, and Serpico, they're actually going to join Guts, Puck, and Casca on their journey now. However, it's going to be very hard for Casca, or for Guts, to actually try to protect Casca just due to the fact that, you know, Casca doesn't want anything to do with Guts. Guts left an impression on Casca in which he totally scared her, and she is terrified and dislikes Guts, and she does not want that to happen to her again. So, and of course, Guts doesn't want that to happen again. He's starting to lose control over his sanity, and he's actually hurting the person who he loves, who he's willing to protect. So, that's going to be completely hard for that, but that will hopefully get resolved in the next episode, which you will see, but to a certain extent, it really doesn't get resolved a whole lot. But yeah, there were several things in this episode that I did not like at all, especially when it came to Farnese and Serpico's past. That just felt really rushed and felt like a puppet slideshow, at least in my personal opinion. But yeah, I mean, at least like to a certain extent, I'm actually happy that they're actually adapting, you know, pretty much the entirety of what the manga is. They're not really skipping over a whole lot. They're actually adapting pretty much everything to a T. However, at the same time, the pacing is being rushed a bit, and that's something that I really do want them to slow down on, because back in Berserk 2016, the pacing was also a big problem. So I really do hope they try to slow it down a little bit from here on out, because what they did with the past with Serpico and Farnese, I just... Oh, will there be hope for this series? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, guys, on what you guys thought about this episode. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you in between? Let me know your overall thoughts in the comments. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one.